Hey everybody, Patch with DCF Guns here. The next three parts to our Gunfighter series are going to be the grip and some talking points that come along with those. So, having said that, what we do here is we like to utilize a progressive form of training through all our training processes so that in establishing a baseline for our training, we can progress to each higher level of training. But what we're doing is we're holding everyone accountable to what has been previously trained. So what we start with is the 8 fundamentals of marksmanship. Our stance, that's a discussion in and of itself. What I want to talk about on this video real quick is our grip and how I'm going to properly grip the firearm. So, as I grip this gun, the first thing that I'm going to do is make sure that as I grip this gun, I'm going to grip it as high on the tang as possible. I like to see a little fold of skin up there. The reason I want this hand to be as high as possible is because this is the reciprocating mass and the majority of the weight on my pistol. As it reciprocates back and forth, the higher I am on this, the easier it is to control that recoil. The lower I am, if I sit and I have a gap here, this gun can move around inside my hand and it gives me less purchase. So you can see on a race gun, often what we do is we cut out here to make room for our finger and our grip to get actually higher. If you have a Gen 4 like this one here, I've cut out the separate groove there, my gunsmiths have, and stippled this so that I've got that good texture going around here. My flared magwell, I have a small flared magwell, and while flared magwells are great for directing off-angle magazine changes inside here, what this magwell does is it applies to my grip is it keeps my flesh, the meat of my hand, away from the magazine as it's being inserted, so I don't impinge the movement and my hand doesn't get pinched inside as I'm driving my next magazine home. So you can see how this finger here goes way up high inside there. I'm getting as high as I can on this grip. Now, due to manufacturer design, my strong hand, in this case, that's the hand that is pressing the trigger, my strong hand must be perpendicular to the ground. My flexor tendons and extensor tendons to be able to actually maintain that. And so the second rule of recoil, following my way up my arm, is recoil has to obey my anatomical alignment. Every time I shoot, my arm's not going to hyperextend. So I can present my arm without wasting a single bullet, bend at the elbow, and I know exactly what that pistol's gonna want to do. So, having said that, my strong hand is as high on the gun as I can get it. Next thing I'm going to do is defeat some of these issues that I'm having with regards to the rule of recoil and energy it produces. Ergo, enter the support hand. My support hand is my muscles in my support hand are much stronger than in my strong hand. My support hand is going to come up. I'm karate chopping underneath the trigger guard, the trigger housing group, the trigger well, whatever you want to call it. I'm coming up underneath here. I'm getting as high as possible, and I'm keeping all 4 of my fingers together. Remember this: divided, we fall. United, we stand. I'm increasing my grip strength by keeping all 4 fingers together versus propping one up here. This can also create problems if my trigger finger is large and I press all the way through the trigger well and my trigger finger wants to get hung up on a finger that comes up high. So let's not do that. Let's keep our hands as high as possible together. Now as my fingers come around, I'm simply going to let them just fall where they are, and then they are naturally going to fall within the lands and grooves of my hand without me looking down at them, okay? And the front of my grip is formed through friction by the texture of the back of my hand and the fingerprints of my support hand. So the texture and the landmarks are going to create what's called a friction grip in the front of the gun. Now for here, what I'm going to do is, due to manufacturer design, remember we talked about this hand has got to be perpendicular to the ground. So I'm going to lock my support hand forward, and I'm going to keep my thumb riding high so that I can clear it. As it comes past it, I'll drop my thumb down. Some people will use this as the time period where they're going to press the gas pedal safety and take their firearm off safe if you have an external safety decocker on your firearm, okay? So having said that, I've locked out this wrist. Now in doing so, recoil, having this wrist locked out, recoil is forced to go directly all the way up their skeletal alignment and be taken up by my larger muscle groups, which enables me to keep that front sight track on my target, and it allows me to watch that front sight as it reciprocates back and forth while I'm running in.